Hi, it's Everett, Everett's Watercolors. Welcome to Simply Drawing with Everett. I'm here in my studio at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm broadcasting to YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitch, and later on to Instagram. And in my studio tonight with my wife, Gloria.
Hi.
And she'll be monitoring the broadcast, also the chat room. I think I'm up and running with the chat room now. We always have a little technical challenge sometimes. Okay, tonight I'm going to do a drawing, of course, and I'm going to get down to go to my overhead camera and let me get started. Okay, tonight, what I'm going to demonstrate tonight is what I call the impressed line. And let me write this up here. Impressed line. It's a ditch or a dent in the paper that I'm going to make with a special pencil, and then when you write, and then when you shade over it, the pencil doesn't go down into the ditch, and it keeps the colors of the underline. And I think I'll show what I'll talk about an impressed line, and it's very impressive to do that. So I'm going to start with a couple of ideas here. I'm going to start with this little leaf down there. It's one right down here at the bottom. I'm going to draw it up here with a pencil. And get the general shape in there. And so this is a good practice. It's good practice for contour drawing, looking at the picture, looking at the photograph. I'm looking at an actual leaf that I picked up off the ground on one of my walking trips. And I do a lot of that. I go on a walk and I'll do a sketch, or I'll pick up leaves, pine cones, whatever I can find that's interesting shapes and possible subject matter. Okay, while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and draw another one. I'm going to draw this one over here. I got this shape here of a normal leaf, and I'm going to this other one over, this long one here. I'm going to also draw this one in. So I'm getting my sketch ready. So I'm going to draw this one in, just like it is here on the actual leaf display here. So this one will come, that's going to be a long, I'll start up here at the corner of the paper, come down. It's a nice long, slender leaf. And I really don't know what kind of plant this comes from. I'd have to go back and look at that. But you find them lying on the ground all the time, or lying around, especially this time of year when the leaves are falling off the trees and bushes. And you can find all kinds of leaves like this, okay? Okay, now, all right, so what I've done is I've just drawn the outline now of those two leaves. The one here, I got an outline of this one over here. So I just did the contour drawing of that. Okay, now an impressed line, I've got here my little toolbox. An impressed line, I use two different types of tools. Now this is a stencil tool that I can draw a stencil with. Stylus. Okay, it's called a stylus. Thank you, Gloria. And that has a blunt point to it, different sizes. But that's also a nice tool. But this is an old fountain pen that's dried out, but it still has a good point to it where the old pen point was. So it's a dried out fountain pen. And it makes a great way to do impress lines. So I'm going to use both of these. So what I mean by an impressed line? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to draw the veins. You won't be able to see them because they'll be part of the paper, but I'm going to go ahead and put this in. Before I do that, let me I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to use Holbein's colored pencil. That's part of the thing. So I'm going to go ahead and color this in with a light color. I'm going to use yellow, Holbein colored pencil, artist quality. And I have these on my website, and there's 150 colors. But tonight I'm going to use the yellow one here. And they sell them in sets of 12, and 24, all the way up to 150. And if you've seen any of my other programs about colored pencils, you'll see I've used quite a few. And also I have my 150 set here. that I use for display. Okay, let me go ahead. I'll go ahead and put a little stem on that. Okay, now, okay, you'll see why I did that. I put the yellow color, the light color in first. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make the impressed line. I'm going to put the veins here in the leaf. And I'm following sort of the contour here. The veins, and they branch out just like a tree. I think I mentioned it once before in one of my videos about the shape of a leaf, that the veins take on the characteristic of a tree, because you got the branch and you got the twigs, and they branch out just like a tree. Okay, now that's the impressed line. Now, how do you make that show up? Well, now we take a darker color. Let's say I'm going to use this scarlet red color pencil, and now watch now as I go over those impressed lines. I'll bring it up close to you now. I'll bring it up real close. You can see the shapes now shining through. The yellow colors, the light color below, is showing through the darker color red. Okay, because I get those impressed lines. So this is a very interesting and impressive way to do a drawing, especially of leaves. This is one idea. I got a couple other things I'll show you tonight, but I wanted to start out with a leaf to get started with the demonstration of what an impressed line is.
You know, children would have fun doing this as well.
Anyone can do this. You could children. This is something anybody in any age can do. Well, you get the drawing started first, and then you can color this in. And what I'm using a regular drawing paper. You probably use something a little bit heavier than not real heavy paper, but you want to use something you can make a groove, not a groove, but like a little ditch. I call it a ditch, or a dent in the paper. If you can dent the paper, then you can make an impressed line. Okay. Let me bring that up close to now. You can start to see the impression there of the impressed line. Let me do another one. Then I'm going to do some more deals with that. I have this is a little bit of this colored pencil here is actually burnt sienna. I can mix that in there too. Burnt sienna mixed in with that. That looks like a fall color there. Yellows and oranges and reds. A little bit of burnt sienna will give me a brown. So it gives me a nice fall color. So I didn't want to make it the color of it over here on the sample I have here, but I just want to use the colors I want. You can use any colors you want. But remember, I started with a light color first. Then I did the impressed line, dented the paper, and then I went over it with a darker pencil. Okay. This one over here, I'm going to start with a different color. I'm going to start here with a light green, even though it's not a green leaf. I know when they're on the tree, they're a light green color. So I'm going to use a light green here. I mean, as a straight. So I'm going to put this one in green. I'm going to start with a light green color, lime. This is a lime color pencil. And you notice I'm coloring in with the side of the lead, because if you start to shade in with the point, just like with a pencil, it'll make your pencil go dull very quickly. So you want to use the side of the pencil when you do any shading. Okay, so I did that with a light green pencil. It's a lime. And now I'm going to go ahead. Now I'm going to switch. Now I used the stencil. I used the stencil point here to put in the links. Here I'm going to use the ballpoint pen. Now, this is an old ballpoint pen where the pen has dried out, but I still have the point in there. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this in now. So I use the impressed line. That's the main vein right there. And this has lots of smaller veins off to the side. So I'll put those in. I'm impressing the line now into the paper. And I'll go off this side over here. Even down into the stem. Okay, then I'm going to take a darker color. This is forest green, a real dark green now. So I'm going to go over top of this with a dark green. And I think you'll see similar results here. I get an impressed image here of the part that I impressed with the ballpoint pen. Now there is another way to do it with a ballpoint pen that's used, but you know, I didn't want to go into that tonight. There's other ways of doing impressions, impress lines. Any blunt instrument can make a line into the paper, but a nice sharp point like a pen point, or in this case a stylus point, would give us a nice point and a nice shape. Okay. And I think you can see, I'll get up real close, you can see the impressed lines now of that one there, okay? Okay, now before I go any further though, I'm going to bring out another tool I have, okay? This is, now, I've talked about, in the past, I've talked about MELTZ Blender liquid. And I usually put this on my drawings with a paintbrush, with a water brush. You've seen me do that before in some of my other videos. But tonight I'm going to use what was the MELTZ pen. It's the same material, but it comes in a pen format. This is called the MELTZ Blender pen. So, and it's got 2 points in here. I mean, I'll use the blender. There's a sharp end, there's a blunt end over here. Now I can go in now, and I can go in and add the blender now on top of this color. And what I want to do is I want to go in here next to some of these stems, or some of these impressed lines. And now I'm blending that color now. Get the main one here, it really shows off real well. Okay, now let me bring that up close up. You can see now with the blender pen, you can see now really see those impressed lines show off. Okay, so color pencils and even regular pencils, you need to use a blender in order to smooth out the pencil mark or the shading part. I also have a regular. This is a Blender pencil. It's not a Holbein product, but it's a Blender pencil. Some of these you can find in other pencil sets, and I can use that over here on the side. I can see how this works compared to the MELTZ Blender. Okay, so I got that blended. I used this blender pencil here for the side over here. It didn't spread as well because the MELTZ Blender kind of blends the colors in much better, much smoother than a blender pencil does. Okay. If you take your time though, and did it layers at a time, now I'm going to do this green one over here now. Let's see how this shows up. The green over top of that light green pencil. I'll do just a few sections here so you can see the results. I think you can see exactly what I'm doing here now with once you do the blending part. So whether you're using a lead pencil, graphite lead pencil, or using a color pencil, you still have to blend it in to make it show up. So now I use the blender pen on this color now to blend the color into the paper, okay? You can see that impressed line of those veins. Okay. Let's see. Now, there's one more demonstration I have, and that's, I'm going to put these pencils away for a second here. Put my pencils away, put my green away, okay. I'm going to draw another drawing. Let's see, where did I put my pencil? There it is, okay. And I'm going to draw this little kitty cat. And you can see the whiskers here on the face. And that's why I want to use the impressed lines there. I'm going to use the impressed lines to have these whiskers show up, okay, on a drawing. So first of all, I'll draw I'll put the picture down here. And I have another one too. I have several of these. So I'm gonna draw this one up here at the top. I have another one down here. Again, you can do a quick snapshot of this, screenshot of this, and you can try this yourself. I'm gonna draw this one up here. So I'm gonna bring it up a little bit closer. So I'm gonna get the face in. Now you start out with a general outline. The general outline. Get the ears. I come over here. Get the size here. I'm going to follow just about the same size as the photograph. This is like a 5x7 photograph here I have. Get the facial structure. Come down, and the little chin line. The size of the face. Okay, get the chin line in. Okay. Now the next thing is the nose. And if you look at the diagram, the eyes are right just about halfway. So I can go here by halfway and start putting those in. Let's see, this one you can mark it over here. They have a slight slant to it. Cat eyes are very interesting to draw. And then I'll come over here and I look at the ears. Location of the ears about there. So kind of do a little bit of contour drawing along with a little bit of inspection. Draw that one. And that nose, the nose comes down. There's a nice sharp area here right alongside the eye. And come down, and the nose is about a fourth of the way down, right here, the nose. So I'll come down about a fourth of the way, estimating. And it's got a little, it's like a little triangle shape. You can see the one over here in the black and white, and you can see the one here in the color. Same kind. This is a real photograph of a real cat. This is a drawing, a picture of a drawing of a cat. But they're very similar. So this little nose comes down here, and then there's a little mouth opening here. It kind of goes back along the side. Right under the chin. Now right here, if you look at the side, there'll be some dark marks over here. And this is where the whiskers are in the side of the mouth. And those whiskers, I'm going to draw them in pencil, or just to. In fact, I'll leave. I'm going to draw the eyes in. Now the cat's eyes, you see the one here, the one in the color, the one in the black and white here. The drawing, you can see the eyes, and the ones up here. So you can follow either one of those, but they're basically a cat eye, oval. But that's not what I'm trying to. The drawing a cat and getting the eyes good is not what the purpose of this demonstration is. I want to get into the impressed line for the whiskers. That's what the really. Okay. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to take. I'm going to take my stencil. I'm going to take the stencil pen here, pencil. This one here. What's this called again?
Stylus.
Stylus. Yeah. I'm going to take my stylus. Thank you, Gloria. She's the craftsman. I'm just a painter. I'm just an artist. So let me see. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put in some long whiskers here. So I'm dragging out these lines. And there might be one that say crosses over a little bit. And as you got whiskers, you will see this drawing here, they got whiskers on the chin too, short ones. But these long whiskers go out here to the side. And even on this photograph here, you'll see there's long hairs up here, even up here on the above the eyes, above the eyebrows. There's a couple long lines up there. I'll put those in. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use another colored pencil, and I'm going to use two of them. I'm going to use for the face. For the face, I'm going to use gray. This is a gray color pencil. So I'm going to make the face of the drawing here. I'm going to use the color gray. And you'll see already I put these impressed lines up here that I put up here in the forehead, above the eyes. You can see those already starting to pop out. And I'll come down the side. So these are light. This light gray is the light colors of the photograph. They're kind of the light color, but they'll show off. They will show off this impressed lines I'm going to demonstrate here that I've demonstrated. Now we're going to put some color on here. And the ears are not that important. Just they got some little white hairs inside the ears. That's not important. That's not the important part of this lesson. Okay. Now I'm going to use the dark black. I've got a black black pencil here, and I'm going to use that as an outline around the face, just so we get some contrast here. I'm using a black pencil just for contrast. This is behind the face. So we're not trying to draw a perfect drawing of the cat. Just trying to get enough color down here to get some contrast, so you can see the impressed line. So if you're using this in a drawing, you want to kind of plan out your color scheme. You want to get the dark against light. You want to use a dark color background behind your impressed line so it will show up. Now here I didn't color behind. I didn't remember. So this example here, I didn't color in behind the lines. I'm doing it right on white paper. That way the color will show up as white. And that's what I want to show. I want to show the white whiskers. Okay, so up here I'm going to, now I can enhance a little bit of this gray here around the face. And I'll put a little along the edge, maybe I'll put it along the face up here, a little darker around here. Okay, now what I think I'll do now is I think I will draw in, I'll draw in the lines a little darker. So let's see. Fill in the eyes a little more. There's a dark ring around the eyes. There's a dark mark along the edge of the foot, along the edge of the nose. There's cat eyes. And this is dark over here. So I'm going to mark in some of the darker areas just a little bit. Again, looking for contrast, a little definition. And let's see, leave that alone. Let's move this eye, erase a little bit of that dark on the eyes there, get the eyes a little more better shaped than that. Okay, not worried about how perfect the drawing is. Just getting a good demonstration here of the shapes and the sizes. I'm just using a regular old mechanical pencil with 2B lead, with HB lead in it. Nothing really different. And a little bit of hair up on top. A little darker outline here on the ears. And come on down around the side of the face. Okay. Okay, but the real, if you can see here, and I'm going to I'll use a little bit of blender on this too. Just we'll darken up a little bit more of that gray. That should be enough. And darken up just a little bit more on the outline. Okay, now I'll use the blender pencil just to put a little bit of blending. I'll blend that pencil lines together. It's a color pencil using a blender. Get more contrast out here. And I'll make it as kind of a little bit messy here what I'm doing, but I want to get that contrast so you can see the little bit of the results. Okay. All right. I'll give you a close up now of the kitty cat. Okay. Now if you can see the impressed lines of the whiskers coming out of the face along here, that's those impressed lines, and just the way the paper is what shows through. Here I put colored pencil on first and then did the impressed lines for yellow. And then over here I put the light green over here impressed lines. And then put a darker value color on top. Here I just drew the face, put the impressed lines in and kept the white paper as my background. And then went in with a darker pencil on top of that. Okay? So that's my demonstration of what an impressed line is for leaves, whiskers on a cat. You can do that on tigers. You can do any kind of animal that's got whiskers and stuff like that. Okay. All right. Let's go back to my main camera. Hey. Oh, as usual, Everett's Watercolors having a good time. I'm having a good time tonight on my drawing. Impressed lines. I think they are very important, and they can be used in your drawing to give you a little more detail. Maybe a little more definition, a little texture in your drawing besides the pencil lines, and putting different, instead of just putting values, changes, and so forth, you can actually put more detail in a particular area. If it's got lines in it and things, definition of the texture, even the bark on a tree, you might want to put some impressed lines there to get a definition of a bark of a tree, or a leaf on a flower, or parts of a flower itself could be impressed lines. So, and even on a portrait, you can use the hairline, the whiskers, the eyelashes, and so forth. You can use impressed lines in that case there also. There's lots of examples for impressed lines, and they make your drawings a lot more interesting. All right, so I'll be back again next Thursday is Thanksgiving, so I'll be putting out some videos, and so if you're subscribed to this channel, you'll be notified of any live videos I put out. I'll be putting out a couple short videos next week. I won't be back here next Thursday because of Thanksgiving. So you all have a good Thanksgiving and enjoy your meal and enjoy the time together as a family and friends. And I'll be back again the following week with Simply Drawing for Everett. So in the meantime, you all stay safe. And this weekend I also put out the one-line drawing on Sundays, and I'm back on Thursday with Everett's Watercolors on Thursday at 2:00 p.m. on the following week after Thanksgiving. So you all stay safe and take care. So right now I'm going to say